beyond these new rocks here, all this other area was done in the 80s. Okay, and when it was done, it was basically done up to a point where there was issues for, you know, the water being, or the banks being compromised by the water. So it stopped. It's kind of tapered into the bank right about here. And really what you're seeing here is just what, you know, Mother Nature kind of threw at us. We started to really notice the erosion in July, and then crafted a plan to get things, you know, remedied, which that included a permit through the, we needed to get a permit from the Eagle Department, which is formerly the DEQ. That had to be approved. We had to get approval from the Army Corps of Engineers, and you know, so there was some time with that, although they really expedited the application process. But we estimate about 120 feet of shoreline, and at this point, close to 30 feet of bank was washed out. So it happened quick. I mean, this tree just fell in 2 days ago. 3 days ago, you could walk underneath it on the water side. That's how fast this stuff happens. And we don't normally get our big storms until the fall. So clearly there's a, you know, some uncontrolled unforeseen circumstances that we have to contend with when it comes to this kind of stuff. But now we're in the process of getting everything remedied, at least the best we can. We're using, you know, engineered fabric, and we're backfilling with sand, and we have different size rocks that our contractors then are basically creating, and we're gonna just take this right now and just tie it into where, you know, where basically where that birch is. That birch used to be 3 feet out of the water. So as you can see, we're what, 15 feet, 12 feet away from the trail. Before we were down, I mean, the bank was basically where the sand is right now. Okay, so we have an electric line here, so clearly that's a priority to get this stuff remedied. And you know, unfortunately, this is only one section of our shoreline that we can afford to address right now. There are some other critical areas farther north here on the shoreline where the bank is already being undermined by the waves in the water. So you know, we're going to try to put some things in place from funding standpoint, from a planning standpoint, to try to, because we don't know how long this is going to last, how long the water is going to be at this level, what level the water is going to be at. I don't know if anybody really knows, but we're going to try to get some things in place to, you know, to mitigate as much damage as possible. So that's.
What's it like kind of coming out here and seeing new stuff every day? You don't know what's going to happen, the unpredictability.
Well, I'm not going to lie, you panic a little bit. There's not a whole lot of institutional knowledge about how to prepare for this or how to remedy this, because this is the highest the water's been in 30 some years. So, you know, some areas of the shoreline react better than others. So to say, you know, this is going to be a direct result of this is kind of hard to, it's kind of hard to plan. But you know, now that it's happening, we can certainly go through and identify the areas that are going to be most critical. But it's frustrating, man. I'm telling you, it's, you know, you can't budget for this stuff because you don't know how much it's going to cost. You don't know how much. I mean, this is going to end up being a $60,000 to $70,000 project that wasn't planned and wasn't budgeted. But yet you have to do it. You can't turn your back on this and go, oh, we'll get it next year. That just isn't. That just can't happen because we get these October, November storms that come off, and we've got 8 or 10 footers that are pounding on the shoreline. I mean, there'd be nothing left. And we have a pond over here, you know, so you take that into account. You know, we certainly don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose the trail. It's, and I don't know what's going to happen down here. Again, you go back to kind of the unknown. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen down here, but we're going to do the best we can to, in fact, if you want to take a walk down here, I can show you what we're looking at doing.
Thank you. What about people who live and visit here? Do they ever talk about how they feel about it? Does it scare them equally as much too?
I think
they kind of might not understand what's happening.
I think everyone is kind of just in awe
Yeah.
of really, because again, people that, I mean, this is pretty uncharted territory. So what people are seeing as a result of this high water, I mean, it's all kind of new to everybody. So certainly the public is, I mean, they're curious and they're concerned. And it's kind of our job as a city, you know, administrators and officials to try to figure out what's going to be the best way to mitigate it, but yet be responsible, you know, to the taxpayers. So it'd be great just, you know, to say, yeah, we're gonna shore up this entire shoreline, but this is probably a 7-figure project if you really want to get into it, and we just don't have that at our beck and call. You know, you get down here, and this, you know, we've lost a good 15 feet of the shoreline down here this year. Down there you can see they do have some, long ago they put big boulders in to help with the crashing waves, but you still have the currents to deal with. We don't have anything here. Probably the best thing that's keeping this together right now is just the vegetation. So when you have a pretty established root system, the water has to work a little bit harder to undermine everything. I mean, it eventually will, but you know, but this is another area that we have to at some point address. We may try to, once the project down there is restored, or the shoreline is restored down there, just put some bigger boulders here just to help us get through the winter. You can't put much else other than great big heavy boulders because the ice is so powerful. The ice will take in, I mean, you can't sandbag this.
Right.
Because once it freezes, the ice will, I mean, it won't even stop it. So again, we've got all these issues. We don't have any great solutions for them. So, you know, we've got a lot of people working on it. We have engineers and consultants, and we spend a lot of time down here just monitoring and keep an eye on the weather. Not like it's going to matter, but you know, we need to get this done. We need to do something here yet before the fall storms come in, and then next year we'll reevaluate. We'll see. They're calling for another 6 or 8 inches additional water next year in terms of it being higher, which is going to cause more issues.
thoughts on why? Why this is happening now?
I don't know. I mean, I'm no scientist. I'm sure, climate change is playing a role, but this was, I mean, it's cyclical too. It was 86 was the highest, it's been since now. Back in the 50s, it was high. So it seems to be there's a 30-year cycle of high and low water. 6-7 years ago, there was emergency dredging funds. Okay, so I don't know what the culprit is. I think it's a very complicated answer. I think there are a lot of things that are playing into it. We just do our part, and we try to be responsible with the resources we have, and we try to put ourselves in a position to where the damage is minimized. Mother Nature is undefeated, so whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, no matter what you do. Okay, but we can try to protect some of this, shoreline with the resources that we have, at our mercy. But
what are you looking at for a total cost so far this year? Where were you at?
Well, this is going to run us, I would say, $60,000+. That's if it doesn't get any worse. Okay, when we bid this out, it wasn't this much. Okay, so our contractors are going to say, okay, we're at where we said we were going to be with the bid, but it's a third more than what it was when it happened. So they provided unit costs and stuff, so we'll have an idea. I mean, if we were to really take a look at how much this would be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it like that. There's other areas on the shoreline that are compromised. We have an area down by our campground and wastewater treatment plant that is also having issues. And as I mentioned earlier, we have some area by our marina and ball field that is also compromised. So this stuff the compromised areas need to be addressed now. We can't wait until later, because it's only going to make it a more costly expense down the road.
What's this mean to the big picture of Petoskey? I mean, like you said, you love this place. People grow up. I mean, this is great, and it's changing, right? I mean, right now.
Yeah, but that's what things change. Okay, this was different 30 years ago. Okay, there used to be trains that came through here. So with time, just things change and things are done differently. So maybe there's a more efficient way to do it now than there was 30 years ago. I don't think the one thing that could really throw a curve is our marina operations. I mean, if we can't operate our marina, I mean, that's huge from a economic standpoint, from a quality of life standpoint. I mean, we have a lot of locals that use our marina, our boat launches. We have a lot of people who vacation here. And they put a lot into our economy. So that. And we have electric lines, we have water lines, we have, our docks right now are piling docks. They're not floating docks. Well, to outfit a 144 slip marina with floating docks, millions. Okay? So if we spend 10 years to do that, and then the water recedes again, okay, so we've done all this stuff, now we're back to dredging. So I don't know. You can only laugh about it sometimes, but so I guess that's a long-winded answer. In the big picture, projects like this won't affect tourism. It won't affect you know, anyone's quality of life. It's just, but there are other areas that would, you know, if the water gets too high or whatever.
What are the highest research areas? Other than the marina, and then what else?
What's that?
What are the really highest concern areas? You know, you got the marina. You said what else are the areas you feel like we got to protect this one?
Well, the marina obviously is a big one, because again, that's a very, very complicated solution and very expensive solution. Obviously, the shorelines are a concern. I mean, we have bike paths that go that hug the coast. Okay, that tourist attraction. So you know, we have several miles of active coastline that we have to monitor, and we have to be able to respond like that. And you get in a position like we have down here, you don't have a choice. You know, you just don't. So you hope that the costs are manageable, because if they're not, I mean, I don't know what you do, and no one really does, and that's the hard part. Again, this is all kind of fresh new territory for a lot of people.
Cool. All right, here's what we're gonna do now.